Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi wabarakatuh. My name is Nur Akifah binti Makordafi. My matric number is 1231387. Today I would like to presenting about core feature of the counseling relationship, which is topic 2. Okay, we will start with the introduction of counseling. Counseling is a collaborative professional helping process between a counselor and a client. In addition, it's aimed to help individuals explore their true feelings and behaviors. Besides that, counseling also provides a safe and confidential space for clients to share problems without fears and judgment. However, it also can help clients deal with life challenges, emotional distress, and mental health issues. Overall, counseling focuses on emotional well-being, personal development, and a better quality of life. Next, I will explain the 8 principles of counseling, which are the main guides in counseling process. Firstly, counselor-client relationship, which is a professional relationship based on trust and collaboration. Secondly, confidentiality, which is client information is kept confidential except in certain circumstances. Next is empathy, which is the counselor understand the client's feelings from the client's perspective. After that, unconditional acceptance, which is the client is accepted without judgment. Besides that, counselor authenticity, which is the counselor is honest and genuine. The next one is active listening, which is the counselor listen attentively. Another basic is effective communication, which is communication is clear and easy to understand. And the last one is counseling goals, which is to help client achieve positive change after the counseling sessions. Next, I will move to the next part, which is steps in the counseling process. The first one is preparing a presentation. The second one is building a relationship, which is serving, listening, and understanding. The third one is exploring and analyzing the problem. The fourth one is identify the cause of the problem. Next, discussing alternative. Besides that, taking action. And the last one is ending the session.
For my first part, I will explain about minimal encourage. These are short response like I see, or just nodding while the client talks. It shows that the counselor is listening and interested in what the client says. This helps client feel more comfortable and continue sharing their feeling. So, even small action can build trust and connection in counseling. Next, paraphrasing means repeating what the client says, but using our own words. This shows that we really understand their message. For example, if the client says, I feel like no one listens to me, the counselor can respond, you feel ignored, but by the people around you. It helps to clarify what the client means and strengthens understanding between both. We go to confrontation. Confrontation in counseling does not mean arguing. It's about helping the client see difference between what they say and what they do, but in a caring way. For example, you say you want to stop smoking, but you still spend time with friends who smoke. How do you feel about that? This helps clients release their inconsistencies and reflect on how to make change.
My name is Nurulsta binti Muhammad. My metric number 1231381. Now, I will proceed to the next session, which is reflection. Reflection is divided into 3 types: content reflection, feelings reflection, and experience reflection. First, content reflection. Content reflection is when the counselor restates the idea expressed by the clients. The idea is paraphrased by the counselor using clear, concise, and accurate words. Next, feeling reflection. Feelings reflection is when the counselor restates or asks about the feelings and attitudes expressed by the clients. The purpose of feelings reflection is to help the clients focus on the feelings or attitudes they are currently experiencing. The last one is experience reflection. Experience reflection is Then, after the counselor observes the client's body language, why the client is talking about an experience or feelings.
Assalamualaikum warahmatullahi taala wabarakatuh. My name is Nurfilza binti Anwar. My metric number is 1231362. Okay, next is questioning skills. They have two parts of question skill, which is close-ended question and open-ended questions. A close-ended question is used to obtain confirmation about specific facts. It usually requires short answers such as yes, no, or specific information. This type of question is brief and specific, helping the counselor to control decision and prevent the client from talking excessively. On the other hand, an open-ended question is intended to open a discussion and obtain more detailed explanation or elaboration. It does not require specific or fixed answer. This type of question allows clients the freedom to express their thought and feelings in any way they feel is appropriate. However, asking too many questions can interfere with the counselor's listening process, as the counselor may be constantly thinking about the next question while listening. Next is interpretation. Interpretation is a process of exploration used to gather information and analyze clients' problem. It helps ensure that clients understand the meaning behind the issues they bring into the counseling session. Through interpretation, clients are assisted in making sense of events in their life and are guided to see aspects that may not be easily visible or consciously realized. Okay, we move to providing feedback. Feedback helps clients become aware of their behavior and feelings. In counseling, counselors do not give solutions immediately, but instead guide clients to reflect on themselves. Feedback is usually given at the end of the session to help clients gain better understanding and closure.
Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. My name is Muhammad Danish bin Suhaili. My metric number is 1231401. Today I want to talk about the foundation of a successful counseling relationship. A strong counseling relationship is the most essential element for successful therapy. By establishing a solid bond, counselor create a safe and supportive environment that allows client to feel secure enough to explore their deepest thought, feeling and behaviors. This relationship is built upon several key features, beginning with mutual trust and respect. Trust is established when clients feel confident that their therapist will use their information ethically and maintain privacy. Furthermore, therapists must demonstrate empathy and engage in non-judgmental listening to understand the client's emotional world. Confidentiality is another vital pillar, ensuring that discussion remain private unless consent is given. Finally, the relationship must be guided by a shared understanding of goals, where both parties work collaboratively to define what the client hopes to achieve. Alright, we move to the next part, which is implementing the client-centered approach. To maximize the effectiveness of this relationship, therapists utilize a client-centered approach, which prioritizes the client's unique experience, perspective, and needs. A core principle of this method is unconditional positive regard, where the therapist accepts and values the client regardless of their past and present behaviors. This is supported by deep empathy and understanding, as the therapist strive to see the world through the client's eyes. A significant focus is placed on client autonomy, empowering individuals to make their own choice and take full ownership of their therapeutic journey. By providing this level of support and encouragement, counselor helps client develop the self-awareness and skills necessary to navigate challenges and achieve personal growth.
Okay, let's go to the next part. I will explain about boundary maintenance in counseling. Simply put, boundary maintenance means the counselor keep a professional distance between a counselor and the client. The important to make sure the counseling relationship is safe, ethical, and effective. First, personal boundaries. In counseling, the counselor must clearly understand their professional role. The counseling relationship is not a friendship, not a family relationship, not a romantic relationship. The counselor role is to help the client, not to become personally involved. Professional boundaries help the counselor stay focused on the client needs. Next, respectful interaction. A counselor must avoid dual relationship with client. This means the counselor should not be friend with the client, have a romantic relationship, and do business with the client. Dual relationship can confuse the client, affect the counselor judgment, and harm the counseling process. Therefore, counselor must keep interaction professional and respectful. Third, clearly communication. The counselor must explain the boundaries from the beginning. This includes the role of the counselor and the client, how and when communication happen, and the structure of counseling session. Clear communication help prevent misunderstanding and make the client feel safe and comfortable. Lastly, ethical conduct. Boundaries maintenance is part of counseling technique. Its purpose is to protect the client, prevent misuse of power, and maintain the professionalism of counseling. Without clearly boundaries, client may experience emotional harm. In conclusion, boundaries maintenance in counseling help keep the relationship professional, ethical, and client-focused. It ensures that counseling can achieve its true purpose. I will continue to the next part, commitment to client well-being. As a counselor, the most important thing is the client well-being. Everything the counselor does is to help the client feel better and live a healthier life. The counselor focuses on helping, not judging the client. Firstly, prioritizing client needs. A counselor must put the client need first. The counselor listen carefully to the client problem, and the counselor focus on what the client needs, not what the counselor wants. Next, advocating for the client. A counselor support and stand up for the client. When the client face stress or unfair treatment, the counselor help them. The counselor help the client understand their right and face their challenges. Lastly, respecting client autonomy. The counselor respect the client's choice. For example, the counselor give guidance but does not make decision for the client. And the client has the right to choose and take responsibility for their own life. In conclusion, a counselor cares about client well-being, put the client needs first, support the client, and respect the client decision.
Assalamualaikum everyone. I will continue the presentation about how to communicate well. First is active listening. This is not just hearing word. It means you give your full attention to the client. You try to understand what they really mean, and then you give a good answer. It shows you respect them. The second is clarifying question. Sometimes the message is not clear. Instead of guessing, ask a question to make sure you understand. This can stop mistake and confusion before they happen. Third, third is empathic responses. When someone talk about their feeling, we should show them we understand them. We don't have to agree, but we must show that their feelings are real. This make people feel safe talking to us. The last point from this part is constructive feedback. If we need to give advice or correction, do it in a kind way. Our goal is to be helpful and supportive so the other person can grow and improve. So now let's talk about how to show that you are truly care about someone. First, a good helper use active listening. When a person share their story, you must listen with your whole heart. This show the person that what they say is important to you. Second is empathy and compassion. Life can be hard. When we show real care for someone's struggles, they don't feel alone anymore. They feel understood, and this helps them feel much better. The next point is open communication. We must be honest and clear when we talk. If we are open, it is easy to build a strong bond or connection. Trust grows when communication is clear. Lastly, we must be supportive and encouraging. We should be a coach who stay by their side. By giving constant support, we help others face their challenge and finally achieve their goals. To sum up this part, good communication is about using the right skill and showing a kind heart. That's all from me. Thank you.
Next, I will present about fostering clients' autonomy. Firstly, empowerment is counselors provide support and confidence to clients so that they realize that they have the ability to handle their own problems. Secondly, choice and agency is clients are given a choice, not forced. This makes clients feel respect, valued, and responsible for their own therapy process. Lastly, self-direction is counselors help clients learn to manage their own challenges such as problem solving, emotional control, and decision making so that clients can face future situations independently. I will continue to the next slide, which is termination and follow-up. Firstly, discussion and agreement is counselor and client discuss reasons for termination. For example, counseling goals have been achieved, client is more independent, and counseling period has ended. Both parties agree on when and how decision will end. Secondly, closure and integration is clients are given space to process feelings about the end of counseling. Counselors help clients to reflect on what has been learned, recognize positive changes in the client, relate skills and understanding gained to real life. Last but not least, follow-up plan is counselors provide support after counseling, such as self-management techniques and reference information if the client needs help in the future. This is because to ensure that the client remains stable and continues to make progress even after counseling has ended.
For the last part is summarizing. Summarizing is a counseling skills that involves repeating and explaining what has been expressed by the clients to ensure clear and accurate understanding. There are two types of summaries, small summary and major summary. First, the small summary. A small summary is conducted several times within one session. Its purpose is to help both the clients and the counselor recall what is currently being discussed. Next, the major summary. It is the counselor's responsibility to end a session by summarizing everything that has been discussed and agreed upon. Its purpose is to help the clients recall and to ensure the accuracy of the counselor's understanding of what has been discussed.
In conclusion, the core features of a counseling relationship, such as understanding, acceptance, honesty, trust, and good listening, help create a safe space for the client. When these features are present, the counseling process becomes more effective to helping the client to grow and solve their problems. That's all from us. Thank you.